I'm in.
Are you doing stills every few?
No, it's one of them. You know, you mash the wrong buttons at many times.
So are you doing good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to come outside first, or do you want?
Sure, that would be a good idea.
Hello, everyone. Here's
Alex.
who's
Nice to meet you.
nice enough to show us this crazy world. And we're wondering whose car that is. I mentioned as we were coming out.
Welcome to Wall Street.
Yeah.
This is the Toasted Block. I came here in 1957, 58. When I was just coming into what I call my own reality. So I ride down to the village on my bicycle and walk to Fair Park. And when I got the nerve, I took a ride east. And this was like a really robust, alive neighborhood. Everybody had their little plot on the street. Takeout. Territory. So, knowing how New York was at that time, you walked in the street, you walk on the sidewalk. And you never look that way, you never look that way, you always look that way. But you try to see as much as you could as you walk through. It was that kind of neighborhood. And then in 1971, I decided that I was going to do something important in the neighborhood. So I started my own station called Minority Photography. And immediately people swooped in and said, I'm a minority from all over the place. So for about 2 years I was working with artists from all over the different parts of the country. Then eventually the work that I was helping them evolve into became very important. Then I needed a space to show the work. So that became the space too. So I started here in 1972. By 73, it was like an ongoing hour. By 1984, it had become very established. So artists who basically, I'd say, felt embraced or had some sort of issues came here. And over that period of time, I learned how to work with people in terms of what they were good at doing. And kind of turn them like around and get them doing what they should be doing. Far outside of who they're fighting with or the reality they're trying to deal with that doesn't bother them in any way to their future. So over the period of something like 34 years, that's what I was doing here. By the year 2000, I decided, well, do I retire and go sit in the backyard and look at the fence and the plants grow, or do I continue? But the vibe was so weird around here, I decided, well, I need to continue doing what I do. But I need to take a different approach to it. Instead of the large group of people that I was accustomed to working with, I began to take it down to individuals. So for that period of time, the year 2000, I've been working with various individuals. Some brought into this country with no kind of benefits or anything like that. Some people who basically totally informed, people that are totally deep. So it gives me a certain amount of peace of mind to work in the areas that I love to work, mainly in the extreme areas of the arts. So some of the work you see on the wall basically is like a history of all the things that I've touched essentially the situation I've done. You pop into the gallery and I'm in the back there looking at a video that I did, I don't know when. And I put it into the machine and crank it up and whoa. He comes in, he looks at it, he thinks it's something else. He looks at it, oh, this is freaking me out. That's the area I work with. That's the area I work with now. It's very critical. So I sit out here waiting for y'all to show up, and I would look at a blue jay. And I say, well, some blue jays been coming around me quite frequently. What's going on? So I had time to observe. So from the point of me observing, that's in my early childhood, watching the horse get shoes, watching the guy make the flames, and both of these up and dance, and nails and so forth. That's what I came from. Extreme rural South, way back when. I was born at the beginning of time, 1948. That was the beginning of everything, so that means I'm in the middle of everything. Every 10 years years, something changed. It seems that something crazy. 1958, I came into this house. 1968, man, goodness, so I look at those as kind of people who've been a good concern. My place in the community. So, welcome to the fourth street. This is like a full, this is like a full year here. You can sit out here and totally get involved in all kinds of songs.
And you're the lead actor.
Yes, that's my car. I put the,
I love it.
that car is the history of the fourth street photograph. That kept the doors open. I had to travel every weekend about 300 miles to make money and come back. I got that car in 1974. It was on its way to the graveyard. It took 10 years to be able to go someplace, come back without waiting until the time to pick it up. And now it's like a movie car. Different people shoot movies and want to use my car.
Really?
It's a character car. Right. So I put the creatures in here to keep me reminded of it. The pigeon likes to travel and the owl likes to sing. So they're a perfect couple. Joyride.
All right. We haven't even set foot aside yet. All right, come on, you guys.
I would like to take a picture with the front of the car. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very nice show. Thanks.
It took me all of 50 years to learn how to be a photographer, by the way. That is, to be able to produce stuff that people will enjoy looking at and learn something from. So these are all edits from give or take, I don't know how many years, but I've done over that period of time. And then to bring them up into print form.
Did you change the selection since I was here?
Yeah.
You did, didn't you?
Yeah.
I don't recognize now.
For 10 years I printed, realizing that the process would get very difficult.
So do you still do your own printing, or?
I could if I wanted to, but the paper's not there anymore, the
Yes,
printer's not there anymore, so I can't get the same results I can make a print, but
It's not the
I
same.
can't push it into those areas that I'd like to
Because
go.
this is all
Like
fiber-based
this
paper.
here. Yeah, like
Wow.
this kind of quality here.
Exactly.
So this is like history here, and I could tell people, well, the major leading poet, he's being whitewashed.
What was your favorite era?
The past 74 years.
It's all good.
To keep it interesting. I was always there to observe things, and not to be told, but to observe and absorb as much information as I could.
What was he like?
He, young kid, came into the world, and his father wanted him to be somebody, and he decided he didn't want to be that person, and he ran away from home and was hanging out down here, sleeping in doorways and basically trying to survive, and subsequently he got the nerve to challenge the arts, and he got into the arts, and he divided company. And that's where at that time when I took that photograph, he finally made it to cover the New York Times, and he was there, he was so he used to stalk me from across the street and then across the photograph. Because I knew him when, now he wanted me to know that he has become successful, so he can prove to me.
Nice.
So that's the image there. And people like that, I finally learned that they have this premonition about life and premonition about death, and they live with that. So that was best for me. And that's the image he gave me, that was going to be left about who he really is. That look and say, I made it, I did it. That's the look.
Amazing work.
So early on I learned to use all kinds of different equipment. That photograph there is taken in Madison Square Garden, 1959. There I was shooting with an Astro 200 watt second. It was pretty new at the time. kinds of images. And also, the reason I was there is this photograph up here of the guy on the bicycle. That's my friend Herbie Francis. He was winning the race to go to the Olympics in 1959, the 1960 Olympics in Italy. So the same Olympics that he went through, Muhammad Ali went to. My friend came back kind of like really scattered in his head. Muhammad Ali came back with a gold medal in the champion. And in 1972, I got a chance to hang out with Muhammad Ali without realizing I should have mentioned Herbie Francis. So I hung out with Muhammad Ali for a whole night. So at that point, I got all these nice images of him on a more personal level, not him fighting. And so I photographed all kinds of artists over that period of time. That image is of me when I was in the army.
That's amazing. I was just about to write, I have to remember that image, Bob. Is it okay to take photographs inside?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Who is that picture of?
That's a self-portrait.
Oh, it's a self-portrait. Oh, wow.
And that's an image there of the god of photography, Robert Frank.
That's Robert Frank. Oh, I didn't recognize him.
That was way back when.
Wow.
And the more important image is a very important image of my space.
Is that your space right here?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
It's early gallery. Actually a rare thing of Robert Frank. This is an autographed image of Robert.
Oh, nice.
You don't sign anything.
What is the significance of the 20s? Oh, 20 years ago from today. I get it. And that's the signature right there. And who is June Leaf?
That's his wife.
Oh.
Oh.
And in front of your gallery again.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay, Olga, I'm gonna take a picture. This is just amazing. Okay, maybe a little bit, yeah, just a little bit less. Okay, less. Okay, perfect. Oops, sorry.
You got your fan club here, right?
This is second. Okay, focus. Okay, I'm taking your picture now. Another one, just in case. Perfect, thank you so much.
So those are the people that I not only knew, but I worked with in terms of the things that I really do here. It's not so much about photography, but more about the inside of the individual and what they're doing at that time.
And I noticed in the archive of images, the link you sent me, all the amazing shots you have of the World Trade Center.
Oh yeah.
Including indoors.
Yeah. When I came out of the Army, I decided, first of all, the first job I had as a photographer was in 1959. Early on, when I just got into photography, I worked my way into the photography department at the District Attorney's office and took over the department. And at that point, I got a hold of real serious equipment, surveillance stuff, without knowing, what this stuff is all about. So I got a hold of a Canon camera with a 400 millimeter lens on it, thinking that everybody had this kind of stuff. That image I took a block away at night with a 400 millimeter lens.
Wow.
Canon. I think now it's impossible to get that unless you spend pretty close to $15,000 to $20,000 for a lens to get that kind of resolution. Right? I shot at f4.5. And that camera was so strange. You had the 400 millimeter lens, the reflex box, and the rangefinder camera. And master two levers, one puts the mirror up, the other sets the shutter off.
Amazing.
So then after that, after I came out of the Army, I decided, well, I didn't want to work for the District Attorney's office. The Army was too much of an institution. I wasn't going to go back into the institution. That was it. So I started freelancing. And that was the beginning of my real
artistic career in photographic things. So one of the assignments was to go and photograph the World's Fair as a press photographer. So coming out of the district attorney's office, the reason I got all these interesting images that I was always practicing to be a Forstner photographer. Always practicing, always seeing things as evidence. So when I became a journalist, it's the same thing. The only difference being had to be able to articulate those images to a different audience that they was into for the journalistic images. And produced the image that told the story, few text things to go with it, and that was it. So I always photographed on that level. So I always had to see that way, to incorporate all those little pieces all around in the frame. Real critical areas. I had to see that instantly. So, because I didn't want my photographs edited, I had to edit my own stuff in the camera. So that became my technique. So eventually I realized, oh, well, I can make money from this stuff. I just have to reinvest in it. So then I began to really print those images up. And over a period of time, that became my source of income, selling images in that level. So that's where I am today. Well, at the same time, in 1993, I got a video camera, a real high-end, the end of the process video camera. And then in 1990, I started being introduced to computers. By the year 2000, I was into computers, as well as video. Then I went into digital video. Then I started doing all these interesting projects using digital video. Then I realized now I could accomplish all my dreams. I was always interested in linear images, linear time. But with the still photography, you can only get pieces of that. So I would take linear images, then I put it together a slideshow to show those people's events. So that goes back from the early time when photography first came into existence. With DeGure, that was his way of earning a living. He would show these different images of country scenes. And then when he heard that there was a method whereby those images could be frozen, he went down and met with Niepce and came out with this wonderful way of, wow, I found the secret. So he took this information to the French government, but they fine, he expected to make a lot of money from it, and they gave him a pension and said, get out of here now. So he went to England, he had to deal with another fact of reality. Mainly that there's only two areas that we allow to exist in, the negative and positive. So subsequently, the Royal Society decided that the only method that should be out there would be the negative process. So here again, it got me into a different area once I began to understand those areas of research. Why not the positive? Why the negative? So you use the digital process to go straight from there into a negative process. Then it's converted, put it back into a positive. But why do they still doing that? So I got totally wrapped up in that area. So since the beginning time, I've always been trying, well, why? So the photography became kind of like my curtain that I could peel open and take a deeper look into different things. So my latest area of research basically going back to Neanderthal and Homo sapiens. There's a big argument here for this to come out of all of that. Mainly dealing with the DNA and the chromosomes. So that's not a new area of study. So I'm constantly going into these different areas. Initially, when I first got into the thing, I had to get into philosophy. So I went through all the different philosophers. Then I had to get into the people who actually begin to become what they call the lawgivers. So I got into the area of early Christianity, mainly, and then what happened when with Christianity, how it basically began to split apart, and what happened when this new group went up to Germany and started this whole new way of thinking, what came out of all of that. So and then you take the people who involved in the science and what role they played in it. Then I have to look at the genetic fact of all of that. So then you see why that understanding kind of like goes back into the chromosomes.
Right.
So everything is related. So even in the photographic process, we're still dealing with that simple fact. Look at different prints. Those are different compounds that's used in order to do that, integrated into the civil process. So I'm constantly trying to, like, you know, take the pieces apart. And you get back to another reality. I'm thinking early on, like, 2 days ago, I got a flat tire on my bicycle in the middle of nowhere. It's 5 miles that way and 10 miles that way. Now, what do? I take out my spare tire, pump it up, and it's flat too. Can't panic. I can walk, but it's going to take, you know, or I can ride on the flat. I ride on the flat. I can't go more than 10 miles an hour. Fine, at least I'm moving. You know, satisfy yourself. And they thought about, well, we all get close to those crisis areas. So it's just a matter, you know, what you use to get yourself out of it. You think about, you know, when they went to the moon and they had these catastrophic failures, and all of a sudden they have to go back in the computer, reconfigure everything. All these minds had to reconfigure, okay, that's not going to work. How are we going to get these guys back? So it's always more about that. In other words, the human mind is so capable of so much if it's unified for one particular thing. So today, you know, that's kind of like, it's kind of like narrowing it down in terms of artificial intelligence. So when it gets into artificial intelligence, that's what frightens me the most. I have my computer, I do all kind of things, send it out there. I get on my computer and all of a sudden it crashes. I can't get back out there no more. That's scary. I didn't need it. I was born in, you know, there was no electric. You go into these dark spaces, kerosene was expensive. So here I am in this reality now, with the same fears. Nothing changed.
Well, thanks. Thanks for having us in here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Real lucky.
Thank you.
Do you guys have any questions?